Then it is a spring day in the year 1983, and I am standing on the edge of a cliff, a no-joke rock cliff 20 feet down to a valley. I'm standing next to my friend Peter Archambault, and at the bottom of the valley are bikes, my bike and Peter's bike. We've just chucked them off the edge of the cliff because it's 1983 and there's nothing to do, and this was the best thing we could find to do. And so our bikes are at the bottom of this cliff, and we need to retrieve them now. And so we start climbing down that 20-foot rock face, trying to get to the bottom of the valley. We're about 5 feet from the ground when Peter saves my life. He jumps first. He lands in a pile of leaves, and a swarm of bees erupt around him, hundreds of bees, and he begins screaming. And I climb back up that rock face as Peter starts running up and down the valley being chased by these bees, and if I could help in any way, I would have helped, but you can't go fight off bees. So I just sort of stand on the edge of the cliff and watch Peter run back and forth. It's like watching Godzilla destroy New York City. It's terrifying, but like a little entertaining too. At that moment, Jack, I am a monster, but I'm 12. Eventually, Peter makes it to his house, and I meet him there. His mother gives him the 1983 version of Benadryl, which my wife says was Benadryl. And eventually, he feels good enough that he can go and retrieve his bike with me. His father comes along, and his father has a great solution. It's a horseshoe and a rope. He attaches the horseshoe to the rope. He throws it down over the cliff. He hooks it to Peter's bike. He hauls Peter's bike up. And then he does the same for my bike, and he hauls my bike up. I put my leg over the saddle to go home, and as I do, one bee that hitched a ride stings me right here. Now, I don't think anything of it, because I get stung by bees all the time. I don't wear shoes ever when I'm a kid, and I'm constantly being stung. I don't understand that at the bottom of this cliff, it's a kind of bee that has never stung me before. And so I get on my bike and I start riding up Federal Street. It's 1 mile to my house. I've ridden this path a million times. I go by the lady's house who gives out the Chex Mix in the Ziploc bag on Halloween. We hate her. We go by the Zaritny's house. It's got like 7 junk cars in the front lawn. My parents hate them. I go by Henry Savoy's house. He's a teenage car thief. The police absolutely hate that kid. I'm riding along, I'm having a good time, and then I notice my hands. My fingers are bigger than they were a minute ago. They're actually starting to look like sausages, and I can't figure out what is happening. Now, I have no idea what's happening because it's 1983. No one's allergic to anything in 1983. We all eat gluten-packed bread that's baked in asbestos factories by people who are smoking cigarettes, and then we just slather everything in peanut butter and share it with everybody. I've never seen anyone have an allergic reaction to anything, so when I see my sausage hands, I think like, that's weird. Why is that happening? And then I start to feel my neck. I've got this key on a string around my neck, because one time I lost my house key. And so every day my mother ties the key to my neck so that I can't remove it, so that someday I will catch it in a chain link fence and it will be all over for me. But on this day, I can feel the string pressing into my neck like my neck is growing in size. And then as I'm pedaling, the strangest thing is my shoes feel small, but what's really happening is my feet are getting big. They're like the Incredible Hulk when he breaks out of his shoes, except I am not strong, and I am tragically rational, and I am definitely not a hero. I'm just growing in size. As I'm pedaling, I'm thinking like, what is going on? And it's not until I just about reach my driveway that I realize I'm having a hard time breathing. And it wasn't because of the hill or the bike. Something is wrong. So I get up to my door of my house and I bang on it and there's no answer. And so I have to open it and it's locked, so I have to do, I'm good at this, it's fine. I get down like this. I've got to line up my Adam's apple to the lock, and then I lean forward, and then you twist head and shoulders at the same time, and I get the door unlocked, and I fall into the house and call for help. And it is silent. There is no one home. So I go through the kitchen, and I go through the dining room, and I get to the phone, which is up on the wall on a receiver, because in 1983, to own a phone, you had to own a wall to stick it there. And so I get the phone off the receiver, and I sit down under the phone, and I call the first number I think of, my mother. My mother's been in the hospital for 10 days. She's had back surgery. And in 1983, they did not have hospital switchboards. Every room had a phone, and every phone had a phone number. And in 1983, we could remember fucking phone numbers. We had like 50 of them in our heads at any one time. Today, you can't remember the 3-digit security code on the back of your credit card without looking. But back then, we knew the whole damn phone book. It was in our head. And that's the first phone number that comes to me. So I call my mom, who's in the hospital, and I say, "Ma, I can't breathe. I can't breathe." And she, as calm as I have ever heard her in her life, says, "Hang up the phone and call 911. But I can't, because I am so out of breath, I can't stand up to get the phone back on the receiver." And so she says, "I'll call 911, and she hangs up. But when she picks up the phone, I am still there. Because in 1983, to get a dial tone, both phones have to be hung up. So she hangs up, and I'm there, and she hangs up, and I'm there. And so finally she tells the woman in the bed next to her to call 911, and she gives the address. And then she comes back to me and says, "How are you doing?" And I say, "I can't breathe." And she says, "Breathe, God damn it. Breathe, God damn it." When the paramedics arrive, they have to break the door down, because I always lock the door because I do what I'm told. And my mother can hear it because the phone is now on the floor, but she's still on the phone. She hears the paramedics come across the house, find me. She hears a paramedic say, "He's not breathing, and I have no pulse." She listens as they do CPR on me on my dining room floor. She's screaming on the phone to get their attention, but they can't hear her in the commotion. She hears them put me on a stretcher. I'm rolled out of the house. I'm actually going to the hospital where she is at. And so she calls the emergency room and she says, "My son is coming to the hospital. I don't know if he's alive or dead. Let me know when he gets there." When I open my eyes, I see a beautiful white light and a beautiful face. It is not God, remember? There is none. It is the light of an emergency room, and it is the face of a nurse. And she's telling me that the tube that's down my throat is helping me to breathe, so leave it right where it is. She tells me I'm lucky to be alive.